Hi everyone, and welcome to Ask Christa. I'm Krista Demo, and my show is a free resource to help people get through common day-to-day issues at work. In each episode, I answer a listener question about business challenges and workplace issues, and you know how it helps to like and subscribe, and I thank you for the support. This is episode 77 in season 7, which continues our focus on dealing with bad bosses. Remember, all my episodes offer additional resources too, so check them out in the show notes. Today's episode is also about what to do when your manager gossips all the time. You can't sit in a meeting without him talking about someone, and you can't provide a project status without him talking about what he heard in back channels. Here's the listener question. My manager gossips all the time and it feels icky. I was promoted to a new team a few months ago, and my former manager was a big part of my promotion. She mentored me for a couple of years and sponsored me to interact with several of our leaders. But now I'm reporting to someone who talks about those leaders as though they're tabloid fodder. I can't sit in a status meeting without hearing things about how our senior VP's child has issues at school. I can't offer ideas about how to best solve a new client issue without hearing about our CEO's executive assistant's divorce. I know office politics and gossip is part of what we all have to deal with, but the gossip is constant and uncomfortable and has nothing to do with work. What do I do? Help. Okay, yes, office politics and gossip are part and parcel to corporate life and workplace dynamics, but I agree with our listener that this seems icky. The focus is on the personal aspects of the gossip. It's not about how someone is working or whether someone will be promoted or fired or whether someone is even a favorite. Check out episode 75. And I'm not saying that any of that is right or okay, but gossiping about personal matters at work sets up a toxic and, will I be the next target? Culture at work, and that's icky. A lot of workplace gossip is not really about information either. It's about insecurity, control, and social positioning. Some people gossip because it makes them feel like they're in the know. Some do it because it makes them feel powerful, and some do it because talking about other people is easier than dealing with their own issues. And so I'll say this, gossip will always tell you more about the gossiper than it will about the person being gossiped about. The type of personal gossip our listener describes really damages the climate of a team, though, and this might be something we don't think about. This level of gossip from a manager feels unsettling because it's not just about unprofessional behavior. It signals a penchant to share personal information that is private. It could even be embarrassing. Our listener describes hearing information about others that undoubtedly includes their current vulnerabilities. And to put a finer point on it, these are vulnerabilities that are happening at home, in their personal lives. So if you're the person sitting there thinking, oh, this is really uncomfortable and bothers me, then I'm here to say that's a normal, good human response to have. When a manager treats other people's private struggles like water bubbler material that can be shared in a cavalier way without care to the work environment, employees naturally start wondering whether their own words, mistakes, or personal circumstances will also become part of the story. And in spite of what you may see on socials, a lot of people don't want to hear about the misfortunes and personal challenges of others. It's icky. But there are a few things you can do. So first, do not reward the behavior, and by avoiding any reward, you are also setting some boundaries. When your manager starts sharing personal details or back channel information, don't react. Keep your face neutral. And as soon as you can, redirect the conversation back to work. You could say something simple like, okay, I'd love to stay focused on the client issue so we can figure this out though. If you hear your manager responding in a defensive tone, such as, what's the matter, are you too good for the gossip? Or something less confrontational but with the same meaning, maintain neutrality and stay focused. We have this issue with the client to solve for, and that's where all my energy and attention is going right now. Don't take the bait. That's what I'm saying. That's my advice. Don't explain. Don't give any of the gossip any of your time. Stay focused by forcing focused. And if you feel that's impossible to do, then you can always say, you know, I've never been comfortable talking about non-work items at work, especially when it sounds like gossip. That's all. Now, about the client. Second, this is an important one. Take good notes. If the gossip starts affecting your work, your reputation, or the team's ability to function, then document the observable behavior, the impact, and what you'd like to see change. That's the BIC method I've talked about a lot. Behavior, and it has to be directly observed by you. Impact, and then change or continue, and in this case, it's change. This method enables you to focus on facts, not feelings, and take it one step further. After you do BIC, Huge piece of advice here. List the date, the setting, what was said, and how it affected the work. What you or others tried to do to refocus away from the personal gossip and onto work-related items, and anything else you can think of that, again, is focused on the impact at work. Third, think about and discern whether the gossipy behavior is annoying, harmful, or reportable. Not every bad habit requires formal escalations, but some absolutely do, and you'll see patterns emerge from your notes. This includes how your manager may respond as you set some boundaries about gossip. For example, if you start to receive less interaction with your manager, or if your workload changes without explanation, or if you suddenly feel like you're on the outs, that may be a form of harassment by way of retaliatory behavior. And yeah, that sometimes happens when you refuse to participate in bad behavior with your boss, especially if your refusal has caused embarrassment or discomfort with your boss. That's reportable behavior, though. It's retaliatory. So too is any instance when the gossip includes sharing confidential information. This is when your documentation will matter. And again, using BIC shows the facts and the actual impact, not the feelings and potential for impact. And if you are not ready to escalate, know your resources. Start by finding your trusted mentor, even your former manager, who can help you think clearly. Practice your wording, think about phrasing, and decide what your next step should be. For your resources located in the show notes, I'm including 3 that connect directly to what a good manager does and what a good employee does when the manager gossip is happening all the time and creates an uncomfortable work environment. First is the American Psychological Association's practical overview of psychological safety at work. And we talk a lot about this, but that is because psychological safety has such an impact on performance at work, and therefore it has an impact to organizational performance. This article is a helpful, accessible read if you want to better understand why teams shut down when people feel embarrassment or blame or being talked about behind their backs. This one is especially useful if you need to explain why a gossip-heavy manager can change the entire tone of a workplace and why it's important to correct it. Next up is a great article on handling workplace gossip from Indeed. It breaks down what gossip is, how it differs from more serious workplace problems, and what professionals can do to avoid fueling it. It's especially helpful if you need to simply know what to say in the moment and how to stay professional without getting pulled in. Most of the time when it comes to problems like this in the workplace, it's a matter of phrasing and language. What do I say? How do I say it? And last, I'm including an insightful article from The Muse on dealing with a difficult boss. And I've provided this one in a few other episodes. It's that good. Your manager may not just be a gossip. He may also be someone whose behavior makes it harder to do your job well. This resource is broader, but that's exactly why it's useful. It can help you think about managing up, protecting your energy, and deciding whether you should adapt, set firmer boundaries, or get support from elsewhere. And there it is, episode 77 from season 7, focused on dealing with bad bosses. Like and subscribe here, but also go to my site and send in your question. It's askchrista.com, that's Christa with a CH. You'll also see answers to other questions listed by category and season, and every season has a theme. As always, thank you for your support. And remember, if you have a business challenge or workplace issue, ask Christa.